Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report. Yeah, I don't have the music now. We don't have the nice deal that we had before. One of the things I'm going to have to fix. Get Ron in here as well. Welcome to the Hammer Down Racing Report for Thursday, December 3rd, show number 158. There's Ron. How is it going?
Wonderful.
Sorry for the abrupt beginning there. I don't have the music beds, and I forgot to update our video there. I'll put a music bed on that. Speaking of updating our open there, I know you had mentioned a few weeks back about putting together a new video for that. So I might put a post up requesting some video. If anybody has some in-car video from the stands that they want us to use from area tracks, let me know, and we'll probably put together a new opening sequence to debut.
If you've got something from years ago, that would be appreciated.
There you go. So Jared Keyser not with us tonight. He was with us a little earlier, had some health issues that he's fighting. So we wish Gary well and speedy recovery. Hopefully he'll be with us next week on the show.
Got to plug it in tighter.
Are you doing some tech support there, Ron?
Now you can turn the volume back up.
This is live tech support from Ron Miller. Make sure to vote for us on the Toledo City Paper Best of Toledo deal. Again, we're nominated for the Best Local Podcast category, and you can vote daily up until the 15th, I do believe, of this month. So I forgot a day or two while we were off because it's been a couple weeks since we've been on.
Yeah, it's important.
When we're done, it's cool to be nominated. It'd be cool, even cooler to win. So when we're done with the show tonight, if you're watching on your phone, it's probably hard to switch over to go somewhere else. But when we're done, I'll remind you. And there's a link on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hammerdown Racing Report. It's a pinned post, and it'll take you right to the page to vote for us. You got to scroll down a little bit because it's under the media page. And make sure to vote for Ryan Weekman, our official Hammer Down Racing Report meteorologist for WTOL there as well, because he's been nominated. So, anywho, moving on, coming at you live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, you can always catch us on demand on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Spreaker, wherever you listen to podcasts. I do a search for Hammer Down Racing Report on Google.
Yeah.
And there's like podcasting sites I've never heard of that pop up. I'm like, oh, look, we're on there too. Yeah. It's kind of just spreads out somehow. We are looking for a studio sponsor. We'll throw that out there right now because since we are officially on our own, the equipment has been reclaimed by my former employer. So everything, thus my kid's old headset for gaming that he used to use is my new equipment, but it seems to be working. So that's cool. But if you're interested in becoming a studio sponsor, helping us out with some studio equipment, contact me. Not during the show.
Even if you want to be a co-sponsor, Ron Miller Race Cars can do a little bit. We can't do the whole thing, but get a hold of Scott. He'll give you an idea of the cost. And Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, a new one.
We got a new sponsor. I shouldn't say last week. Last week was I almost said Halloween, Thanksgiving. I'm getting my holidays all mixed up there. Last week, Craig Mintz, or 2 weeks ago, Craig Mintz wanted to get on, so we got his deal. Brand new sponsor. They're with us for quite a while, actually. Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, the most technologically advanced goose and duck decoys ever produced. They're manufactured in the U.S. Check them out at realgeese.com, or you can give them a call, 419-800-8100. So we appreciate them coming on board, joining, of course, Ryan Miller Race Cars. 734-856-7223. There you go. It's on the scroll there too, in case you missed it if you're watching us. Millstream Speedway, big sponsor there. They've been sponsoring us since they've been trying to return to action, and that's finally happening January 2nd with the Hangover 2. You can follow them on Twitter or Facebook, or stop by their website, millstreamspeedway.net. And of course, Big D's Pizza. We always love their pizza over there in Clyde. Mention the Hammer Down Racing Report. Save 10% off any order. You can call them at 419-547-1444. Tonight on the
I tried to get a hold of Grubhub and DoorDash, and they won't deliver over here
that's
from
crazy.
Clyde.
My kid, I think he's going to start doing Uber Eats or whatever. Doing one of those things. So maybe we can see if we can get him to deliver some Big D's for us.
Maybe on his way home from work. I mean,
yeah, because Mommy is right there next to Clyde.
Yes.
Sorta in the distance. Anyway, tonight on the show, it's our last of our Champions month plus a week, because I guess November was our Champions month. We have our Sandusky Speedway champions on the show tonight. Matt Marlowe, the modified champion, Dan Smith from the Renegades, and Kyle Lawson, who was the pure stock winner, and Neveah Rusiska, who I'm probably butchering her name, but we'll have her on as well. She is the youngest female champion of Sandusky Speedway history. So we'll be talking to them in just a little bit as well. So looking forward to all that. And next week, we got something lined up for you that's pretty cool. We'll tell you about that a little bit later. Also, the how many from last week will determine who the winner is. We had several. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people guessed right for last week's how many and are in the running for a Big D's pizza. And we're going to spin the wheel. They're right there. There's the names. There's a little teaser for who's in the running there. We'll find out who wins that large Big D's pizza. Before we get to our champions, a real quick rundown of some random racing action from the past week or so. The USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midget season concluded in the same manner it began, with Tanner Thorson in victory lane. Thorson led the final 4 laps of Saturday night's season finale and earned a season-leading 7th win. Thorson won the season opener back in February at Bubba Raceway Park. And pole sitter Buddy Kofoid tried his hardest to get around Thorson, but just couldn't get it done. Had to settle for a second-place finish. Tyler Courtney finished 3rd, and fast qualifier with a new track record. He seems to be getting good at it. Kyle Larson, he ended up finishing 4th. Kofoid finished a highly impressive rookie season with a series 4th in the standings, earning 3 total victories, which earned him Rookie of the Year honors. So, and Chris Wyndham ended up clinching the 2020 USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midget title there.
Buddy Kofoid, of course, kind of a regular on our show. And
yeah, we had him on a few times.
Yeah.
Last year's championship show for Attica there, picking up the championship in the 410s. So he's someone to keep an eye on. He's going places, I think. So cool stuff there. Kyle Larson completed a weekend sweep of the ASCS Southwest region of the Copper World Classic at Arizona Speedway, grabbing his 45th dirt track victory of the season. So, yeah, he's had an impressive year. A mistake by the leader, Rico Abreu, with 8 laps to go was just enough for Larson to steal the lead and went on to take the checkered flag. And finally, Brandon Overton, pitted for fresh tires on lap 60 during a caution, went on to win the $10,000 Dryden Extreme Dirt Car Series event, the 30th annual Blue-Gray 100 Cherokee Speedway on Sunday night. So a little bit of action going on. Another big race coming up this weekend we'll talk about in a little bit, the Snowball Derby deal. How much
maybe,
you know about that?
Maybe Mike Young can help us with some pit reporting there.
Is he down there for that?
He'll be down there, yes.
There's a lot of big names competing in that race. And tonight's How Many actually has something to do with that. So stick around for that. How about we bring in our Sandusky Speedway champions, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Is the room going to get crowded?
Well, it looks like we got 3 of the 4 here, just waiting on J.D. Lawson, but I told him to be here at 7:10, so it's just now 7:10, so it works out. But bring in Matt Marlowe, Kyle Lawson, and hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I know Doug sent me something because I don't think I was pronouncing it right. Neveah, is that right? Am I saying it right? Neveah. See, that's what he said, and I'm like, no, it says Neveah. So Neveah, okay. And go ahead and say your last name for me.
Rusiska.
All right, I was close on that when I spell it right. So all right, we get all that. So let's start out with Matt. You got to run the least amount of races this season. I guess the mod's only running 5 times at Sandusky this year.
Yeah, there was just a short like series that were put together by Sandusky, and I kind of liked it just because the every week thing is a little bit much with the other stuff that we got going on with the quarter midget racing, and try to run other tracks, which we did a little bit this year, not as much as we normally do, but it's been a rough year, as we all know.
What kind of quarter midget deal do you have going on?
My daughter runs quarter midget out at Sandusky.
Okay.
And then we had a second cart that we ran with another kid, Aiden, at the end of the year, which my nephew started off running when he was up. He lives in South Carolina. But so we ran that cart, and then Aiden, they purchased their own cart from Randall Atkins, and so now they're going to be an additional cart there.
Did you make it over to Toledo with the quarter midgets at all?
Not this year. We went last year, and it wasn't something that we were quite ready for yet. So we wanted to get another year in on the dirt, but we're maybe pursuing some more stuff this next year. We'll see how it goes.
You are aware that Toledo has a dirt track now as well as the paved track, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Justin Weiss said, we talked quite a bit on the quarter midget racing and with Randall Atkins and, a few of the others on stuff. And a lot of the stuff that was falling at the same time as that race was, we were busy. We had races at Sandusky and stuff like that. So we
Sure.
couldn't.
So where else did you run the mod this year?
We went over to Lorraine Speedway and ran. Typically, we try to run, Barberton, Painesville, Midville, and Sandusky. Just local tracks, not travel too far. I don't really like to run every week anymore. It's a bit much. Got a lot going on, at home. With the quarter midget and go-kart stuff, it's a lot. So, the little short series that Sandusky has going on right now, I really like.
Now, did you think that you would actually get the race at all back at the beginning of the season when all the restrictions were in place?
I got to give it to Kevin and Chris and Bev, everybody involved out at Sandusky and at every track, to be honest with you, because the way it was starting, there was no racing going on, and they even said the first mod race that went on at Sandusky, they were doing it with no fans, and I don't know how they would have pulled that off. It's a big risk to take. It's a cost risk. It's a cost risk for everybody involved. It's very expensive on all hands to either go race or to put on a race. Pay out at the end of the night. Risk for drivers, car owners, everybody involved to even leave to go race. I mean, and for them to say that they were going to put on a big modified race with no fans, they were going to do it.
Yeah, Chris and Doug and those guys, they seem to spearhead a lot of, getting the tracks going earlier in the year. I know a lot of tracks were consulting with them, and they were talking a lot of politics with Columbus and stuff and got things going. So hats off to them, and cool that you did get to do that. All these tracks, actually, well, not all, a lot of tracks in the area got to do some racing and have some fans. So that was pretty cool. Now you got one of the 5 wins, and talking to Doug, I guess there was 5 different winners. So how competitive was this modified field?
I'll tell you how competitive it is. Going into championship night, I don't like racing for points, which is why we,
I think most racers are that way. Everybody was like, I'm not racing for points until it's the last night and I'm in the point lead.
That's kind of how it went. Like I said, we like to just travel around, support everybody. We don't, like to bash anybody. We're like to run the bigger shows. That's kind of where we're at. But going into championship night, I think there was 5 of us that could have won the championship.
Wow.
Kevin J. Cox Jr. was probably the funniest that I got a text from him. He says, I got a chance. I need you and Kenny Phillips to break in practice, and I need 28 cars to show up. So, I mean, that was funny, but that's how tight, when you have a short little 5-6 race series like that, I mean, it's anybody's game. I mean, I think me and Kenny Phillips were like 7 points apart going into the night. Kenny he had a way better car than I did on championship night. He got tied up into a little bit of a scuffle partway through the race and got sent tail. And to be honest with you, if he didn't have that scuffle, he would have probably won the championship. I mean, we could only be separated by 1 car, I think is how it ended up. So I mean, that's tight.
And you ended up finishing second, didn't you, in that last race?
Yes, I think so. Second or third. It was I mean, even on any given night with the modifieds, it's tough. I mean, it's a tough group. It's a tough field. I mean, just like the Snowball Derby tonight, 50-some cars are within a half second. On any given night with the modifieds, that's, there's 12 cars, 14, 16, kind of, within a tenth. I mean, it's tough.
How many years have you been racing at Sandusky?
I started racing in late 99, so basically 2000.
So you've got a few laps there.
Yeah.
So what was your most fond memory of this past season? I know you only had five nights at Sandusky, but any one of those stand out more than the others?
Oh, the High Miler win. I mean, that's kind of basically what drove us to try to, win the championship. Everybody loves winning High Miler. It's just it's the biggest race of the year, the biggest event, the most people. I mean, it's the whole year. I mean, I wish we can do more. 5-6 High Milers during the year, just because everybody's amped up for that. Friday night at High Milers, they kick off, and Saturday's the big race for the supers, and we're just a support division, but it's a big deal for us too. I mean, there's a lot of prep, a lot of strategy. It's not just show up and you're going to win. It's a big deal for everybody involved. It starts on Wednesday. We were there with go-karts. We were there Thursday for Fan Appreciation Night. All those guys that were there, it's everybody, all the divisions that are involved with High Miler. That's what we all look forward to. Everybody preps. It's long races. It's, you're racing 2 days in a row. It's, you don't just show up and think you're going to be the fastest car. And if your fastest car, you're not always going to win. You know, you got to be lucky. You got to be good. You got to have good equipment. I mean, there's a lot involved. We all know with racing that is involved on winning in races.
So what are your plans for next year, for 2021?
Basically, I mean, right now, basically the same thing as we did this year. I mean, we're going to run the Sandusky races that they have planned. Maybe we'll travel a little bit, you know, to the same tracks. Didn't make it to Paynesville or Barberton this year. I mean, just different circumstances that obviously went on. We all know with the COVID stuff and work related, and you know, a lot of stuff going on at home and work there. And but I mean, we're gonna run. Got a little bit more going on go-kart end. So I mean, that's going to consume a little bit more, which that's kind of, you know, where my heart is right now is, you know, with my daughter with racing. You know, I have more. I love racing, don't get me wrong, but if you guys haven't been to the go-kart track and watched these kids race, that's where it's really at.
Well, Matt, I was wondering if you're into the go-karts too. It seems to be a lot of the racers are heading off that way.
I tell you what, we have a group text with my fiance and her family, and there was a text that I sent out. I said, you know, I have more fun go-kart racing than we do in the big car, which is kind of what we call it. So we contemplated on all getting go-karts. I mean, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't been around like on the go-kart track on the Sundays now that it changed to, if something goes wrong, everybody's there to help. You don't see that a lot anymore on the bigger cars. You still do some, but it's a way different stress level. You know, because I'm not driving, I can yell at her. But which is funny because she's like, Dad, I won last week. It's your turn. You know, you better win. You know, which it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. You know, like I said, I love racing. We went, you know, to a lot of races this year at Sandusky that we weren't even racing. We just went out and had fun enjoying. We took the car out and then did some pace laps for the compact cars, and I tell you, just doing that, the feedback that the compact guys, because they always say that they're crapped on and they're nobody. They put on one hell of a show. I mean, and the guys that came up, they're like, that was the coolest thing ever. You know, that was, you know, you actually respect us. You know, and they put out a lot of money for the modifieds, you know, out of their own pockets, and they don't get paid anything. So, I mean, those guys, you know, I respect them. I think a lot of us respect them. I did it just, you know, in fun and supporting, you know, just same way as they support us. You know, they raise money for our purse, and we're all there for the same thing, just to have fun, have a good time. That's what it's all about.
Speaking of those other classes, do you get a lot of? Do you have much of a chance to watch your fellow champions here in those other divisions?
Yeah, I mean, any time that we're not back in the pits working on something or trying to get ready, we're always up in the stands watching.
Okay. Well, then this question is about you and the other champions here. We kind of asked something similar to this to all of our champions from all the other tracks as well. If there was a race, and I'm going to bring Dan Smith in here too. He's with us now. Everybody's tiny on the right side now, but if you were up against the other three here, we just lost Neveah. Well, she's racing too. Equally prepared big wheels down the front stretch of Sandusky Speedway. Who's going to win? You, Kyle, Dan?
Well, I'm sure we'll all say that we're going to win.
You'd be surprised. We get some strange answers for that.
I guess I'd have to see how much we all weigh first.
Have to have a weigh-in. All right. Well, congratulations on your championship there. We're going to move on here and speak with Kyle, who I believe I mistakenly said JD earlier, and I apologize. All right, you unmuted Mike. Congratulations on your championship, Pure Stocks. You got 2 wins this year. Tell us about your championship season.
It was definitely a long season. We struggled with the car a little bit midway through the season. It was my first full season in the Pure Stock division. I ran the car, I think, like 5 times last year after moving up out of the compacts. So it was a different animal.
Okay, and you got a pretty sweet-looking ride, as I recall. Tell us a little bit about your car.
Yeah, I run a 1973 Ford Torino that Dan Hensel built probably 20 years ago, and he ran it out at Mansfield until they closed down. And it sat in the barn for 15 years, and I was able to purchase it off of him after getting a hold of him and wheeling and dealing. And now I own the car, and it's kind of cool.
Does it still look as nice as it did in that picture there?
No, when Dan had it, it was pretty pristine. It was the fenders weren't beat up on it, and but you'll have that racing, and when you got close racing, you're gonna get a little beat up here and there.
Now, speaking of close racing, you had 2 wins. The second place finisher in points had 11 wins. How does that work? How do you get that championship? Were you just that more consistent?
I made it every week. We showed up the first week, not intending on running for the points, and we ended up midway through July 4th weekend. Our one buddy Doug said, "You got a legitimate chance of winning this," and Doug ended up passing away, I think, like 4 weeks later. So that's when we buckled down and said, "We're gonna go after it."
Nice. Did you dedicate the championship to him then?
Yep. We dedicated it to him when I climbed out of the car. Me, my mom, my dad, and everybody's kind of tearing up, and we were glad to bring that one home.
Now, does Chris Mize, is he on the Receiver radio out there at Sandusky?
Oh, he's on it all the time.
How many times did he yell at you this year?
I didn't get yelled at too much. Believe it or not. He wasn't on me. He wasn't on our division all that hard for some moves or anything like that. We had a pretty clean division.
Wow. I would think he would find some reason to yell at you.
Nah. I mean, here and there. Don't get me wrong. He gets on there and gets on there and tunes us up a little bit every once in a while.
All right. What was your most fond memory of this past year?
Being able to get a feature win in the Pure Stock after moving up and kind of being able to prove my ground in the division after coming from a compact. I raced compact since I was 15, so being able to move up and compete, it was a feat in itself.
Did you find that the stock car drives a lot different than the front wheel drive cars?
Yeah, I mean they drive a lot different coming off the corner, and that's the biggest difference for me. Because the ass of the car wants to push you around versus the front wheel drives, they're kind of pulling you to the wall coming out the corner. So it's a different handling coming out.
And you got a little bit more power with those as well.
Yeah, my old man, he's on me every week because the bad habits from the front wheel drive that I carry over. But eventually I'll get that all worked out.
But when the car's, you definitely don't stand on the throttle and turn the wheel.
Right. I mean, the compacts, I mean, or Renegades or whatever they want to call them.
Right.
I mean, you can stand on a throttle and turn the wheel and, I mean, eventually it'll grab and pull you out of the corner. And these won't do that.
Not so much with the stock car, I'm sure.
No, no.
What's your plan for 2021? You going to defend the title?
We haven't decided that. We've kicked some ideas around about going and running a couple different other racetracks, and we're working on another car to put together, and we might shoot over to Jennerstown for a race or two, and kind of spread our wings a little bit and see what we can do.
Where would what's like your end goal as far as racing goes? I mean, where would you like to end up? I mean, is this fun for you? Is this it, or do you have a higher goal to get to?
I was asked that same question when I called Dan Hensel. I was asked that same question. What's the goal now? Since you won the championship and you prove your ground, and I told him more or less go after more feature wins. I mean, more feature wins in the division, and maybe later down the road, I want to get my boy into it and see about that and go from there.
Quarter midgets and go-karts. I hear that's where it's at.
I've been looking at the go-karts, so I don't know. We'll see.
All right, who's going to win that big wheel race between you and the other champions?
I'm with Matt on that one. We gotta see the weight of everybody else, and Neveah's little and Dan Smith, so they get them little legs moving. I think it'll be a battle.
Yeah, I would think long legs would probably be a disadvantage in that too, unless your butt's hanging out.
Yeah, I think so.
So, all right. Well, congratulations, Kyle, on your championship, and we wish you the best in the future. Let's bring Neveah in here, put her on the hot seat, since she is the youngest female champion in
Sandusky history.
Yeah, Sandusky history. I was trying to unmute your mic. You're gonna have to undo that. There you go. It wouldn't let me. Apparently, you have more power than I do. Congratulations, Neveah. How excited are you to be that youngest female champion?
I'm pretty excited.
Okay. Now you have a relative, I guess we could say, that is pretty heavily involved with Sandusky Speedway. Did Kevin, your grandfather, get you into racing? Or I mean, how is racing in your family? How did you get into this deal? I guess this was your second year racing, right? In the beginner.
Yeah. When we moved out here and I saw my sisters into it, me and my brother decided to jump into go-karts with them.
Okay.
So ever since then, I've been planning on moving up slowly.
And you were better than them?
I did win 2 championships when I was in go-karts. So.
All right.
You see the way she said, I did win 2 championships. So.
Oh, by the way.
So did either of them move up to a full-size car? Or?
My brother is actually moving up to the beginner class next year.
Is he younger than you or older?
He's younger.
Okay. Now, are you still eligible for the beginner class? I believe that's up to 15. Is that what it is?
I'm actually gonna move up to Renegades. Beginners.
Look out, Renegades! Coming for you. So let me see. You had 4 wins this year, so you had a pretty good season there. Any one of those wins stand out more than the others?
Definitely the cavalcade ones, because it was my first cavalcade I ever raced.
Okay. And it sounded like you had some engine issues earlier in the season.
Yeah, I blew an engine. I had a lot of issues this year.
Who had to change that?
I actually had help from McCall Racing.
You ended up borrowing a ride or several rides?
Yes, one of their cars I did get to borrow a couple of races.
Okay. So what happened with the blown engine? Was that just the engine just happened, or was there something that led up to that?
One night it just wouldn't start, and it just happened.
So what kind of car is your car?
My new one is a Beretta.
Okay. Is that what you were driving this year?
No.
What were you driving earlier this year? Had four wheels.
What color was it?
It was black.
All right.
All right. So how many wins did you get in your car versus in the borrowed cars?
I think I got 3.
Okay. AJ says it was a Cavalier that you were driving.
Wow. Thanks, AJ.
So someone told me you ended up on your roof. Was that this year or was that last year?
That was last year. That was actually my second time ever racing a big car.
So how did that happen?
I got into it with another driver, and I actually rode up on the guardrail and onto the wall and kind of went down on my roof.
Front stretch?
No, backstretch.
Okay.
How exciting was that?
Not very exciting.
So was that the first time you've been upside down in any kind of racing?
Fully upside down, yes.
Okay. I'm guessing that would have got your attention. I luckily, thankfully, have not yet been upside down, but I probably would have to change my underwear if that happened. Did you learn anything from that experience?
I mean, it kind of shook me, but it made me learn. It made me go faster. Just watch out for the other cars.
Okay, so you weren't scared to get back in the car then after that?
No, I actually couldn't wait to get my new car.
You weren't hurt then, I assume. You were okay?
No, I did have to get checked for my neck, but nothing serious.
Well, that's definitely good news. So what's in your future? You say you got a new car. You're moving up to the Renegades. Any chance we'll see you at the Hangover races this year?
Probably not.
Probably not. Not your thing. You don't like the cold.
My car is not going to be ready for that.
So you're moving up to the Renegades. You're gonna give Dan Smith a run for his money for the championship next year.
I don't know. I'm gonna slowly get up there.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I guess where do you see yourself maybe 10, 15 years down the road? Are you going to keep racing for a while? I mean, what class would you like to get to eventually?
My main class that I want to get to is modifieds.
Okay. Staying on the pavement, right?
Yep.
Okay. Don't let that old guy up in the top corner right above me here. He's a converter of asphalt racers to dirt, and he's proud of it. So be careful.
I do a fair amount of pavement racing, so don't start.
So the big wheel question: Who do you think's got the advantage of you champions out there at Sandusky Speedway? Little drag race down the front stretch, equally prepared big wheels.
I honestly have no idea.
No
Come on, you got this.
Not a big wheel racer. It's about the size of a go-kart, other than it's a bigger wheel, right?
And you pedal it.
Yeah. All right. She's not gonna say anything. Well, congratulations on your championship, and congratulations on your 4 wins this year. Good luck with the Renegades next year. And speaking of the Renegades, we're gonna pull Dan Smith over here, put him in the hot seat, and first off, say congratulations on your championship. Can you hear us, Dan?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So
Yeah, I can hear you.
all right.
Oh, okay.
I think we got a little bit of a delay here, but were you surprised that you got to run as many nights as you did this season? You know, with the COVID delay or the COVID restrictions? I think you're muted now. I see your mouth moving.
Yeah, his mic is definitely muted. He should be able to
There you go.
push that button and
All right. What were you saying,
hear-
Dan? I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely surprised we got to run that.
Okay.
I didn't think we'd get to run any, possibly, but thanks to Chris Mize and Doug and Kevin, all them for working hard on that.
Did you get to run anywhere else this season?
No, we went down to Shady Bowl. We was going to run down there and end up getting rained out. So just Sandusky.
Okay. What you've been racing for a few years, I'm guessing here, because I've seen your name around. What would you say was the biggest win of your career?
I don't know. I have to say the Renegade Rumble a couple of years ago was probably one of my favorites. I like every race. I just try to win every race I can and have fun, do the best I can. So.
All right, are you scared of these younger drivers coming up through the ranks like Neveah? Or are you intimidated by them?
I'm actually gonna move over to the pure stocks this year, but yeah, I'd definitely be worried about Neveah. She's gonna be good.
Okay, how many years you been running in the Renegades?
Been running Renegades for 8 years. That's why I decided time to try something different.
Okay. All right, do you still have your car? Maybe you're gonna race the hangover race on New Year's Day?
No, I sold my car. I'm not much for the hangover. Too cold for me. I might come and watch, but
Throw some snowballs. Do you have your pure stock for next year? You already have that car, or is you still working on putting that together?
yeah, we're working on putting it together. Got a long way to go, and I got a lot to learn. But I think it'll be fun. Something different.
All right. Moving on. I guess we'll ask you the big wheel question. Who's going to win that big wheel race between you, Matt, Kyle, and Neveah?
I have to probably give that one to Neveah. I got like pretty good, so.
All right. I think that's fair. That's probably who I would go with. I think size has a lot to do with it, but
And youth and exuberance.
youth, yes, and energy. What's your long-term plans as far as racing? I mean, you're moving up to pure stocks. Do you see yourself moving up to any other kind of racing?
I doubt it. I'll probably stay in the pure stocks age times too. My son got in. He's into it now. He's also going to run the pure stocks. I just to have fun. That's all.
All right. Well, again,
Take it from somebody that's been there, Dan. Racing against your kid is highly overrated.
especially when he beats you.
Doesn't matter. It's overrated.
Yeah, he beat me once last. He beat me once last year, but that was probably the highlight of my year last year. Honestly,
Yeah, I think Ron was pretty happy when Steve beat him at the hangover race.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So, all right, Dan. Well, congratulations and good luck in the pure stocks next year.
all right. Thank you, guys.
And if you find a ride for the hangover race, look forward to seeing you there. If not, pop down to Scott's pit or my pit and say hello.
There you go.
You're with.
Thanks again. Congratulations, Dan.
All right. Congratulations to all of our Sandusky
Thank you.
Speedway champions for joining us here tonight, and we wish them the best next year. Look at that. You're big, Ron. There we go.
Yeah, whatever. Got
some racing news to get to before we do get to our winner of the How Many Big D's Pizza. I don't know if you heard this. ARCA Menards Series is going to be returning to Toledo Speedway on May 22nd, 2021 for the 81st time. They've been there a lot. And it's the real ARCA series, ARCA proper, not
ARCA Menards.
Yeah, not the East or West series, the actual ARCA regular series, part of their is it 20 race schedule, 19 different tracks, I think I saw.
Yeah.
So cool that's there. Of course, they're kicking off the season. I believe it's the night before the Daytona 500.
It's a big deal this year. They're sharing the spotlight.
Yeah,
they typically run the week before, so being on the same weekend schedule, that's really cool.
So schedule's starting to come out. There's been a few of them that have already come out. The Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions will be contesting 59 races across 13 states next season.
That's grueling, Scott.
That's a lot. Yeah, the All-Star Championship points will commence in early April, as it usually does. 2 days of action at Attica Raceway Park, Friday and Saturday, April 9th and 10th. Attica actually has a total of 5 events on the schedule. Fremont has 3 events, which includes, of course, the season finale, like they did this past year, the Jim and Joanne Ford Classic. That's going to be October 8th and 9th. Waynesfield Raceway Park.
Ooh.
Excited to see that. And Limaland Motorsports Park each have an Ohio Speed Week date. And, of course, Eldora Speedway has a date scheduled during the Four Crown Nationals on September 25th.
Scott, I didn't see. Is the Brad Doty going to be one of the All-Star shows?
I'm glad you asked, because my next bullet point here, the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Series, is bringing a 91 race schedule across 27 states.
Wow.
And game-changing purses. They've upped all the purses for the races, not just winning, but all through the field. For the first time since 2016, the World of Outlaws will feature 3 Ohio tracks. They appear twice at Attica Raceway Park, May 21st, and, as you asked, the Brad Doty Classic on July 13th. So it's going to be a World of Outlaws show.
Wow.
Like it normally is. Then they'll be at Eldora Speedway. Actually, before that, they're going to be at Eldora Speedway on May 7th and 8th for the Let's Race 2. And then July 14th through the 17th, that's right after the Brad Doty Classic, they'll be at Eldora. And they're going to have the 38th and 39th annual Kings Royal. And there's going to be two big races paying $175,000 to win. There'll be $175,000 to win Thursday night, July 15th, and then Saturday night, the final night there at Eldora.
Wow.
Another $175,000 wins. So let's add that up. That's $350,000.
Yes, sir.
Just to win. That'd be nice to win that. September 24th, they'll be at Eldora as well for the USAC 4 Crown. They're going to be at Sharon Speedway on May 22nd. And as I mentioned before, that they're increasing their single day and 2-day event purses for the upcoming season, as well as the overall point fund payout. Each race will now pay a minimum of $10,000 to win. And the points fund at the end of the season will award more than $730,000. That's a $90,000 increase from this year. So, yeah, there's a lot of money to be had there, and which is surprising, considering this year was kind of a tough year to get through. But anyway, moving on.
We can only hope that spring brings us better health.
Everything. Yes. Health, weather, all of it. Reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion Chase Elliott is set to compete in one of the most difficult dirt track events in the United States in January. Elliott confirmed Tuesday evening that he plans to compete in the 35th running of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals, scheduled to be January 11th through the 16th inside the River Sprint Expo Center River Spirit Expo Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's keeping busy too. He's going to be in another race here we'll talk about in just a minute. Hendrick Motorsports confirmed Wednesday that team member William Rowdy Harrell and his wife Blakely were tragically killed in an automobile accident in Florida Tuesday night. I believe it was last Tuesday night. The newlyweds were traveling to celebrate their honeymoon after being married on Saturday. Harrell, 30, was a tire carrier for Hendrick Motorsports for the last 8 seasons, most recently with the number 88 NASCAR Cup Series team of Alex Bowman. Fan favorite and longtime NASCAR team owner Morgan Shepherd has been diagnosed with the early stages of Parkinson's disease. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Steve Kinzer are going to be inducted into the National Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame in 2021, the 2021 class. Did you see that accident from the Formula One race?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
I first saw that on social media, and I thought it was some footage from some movie. I was like, that's not real. I was like, holy crap. And I can't pronounce his name. If I try to, I'm gonna get it wrong. But Roman, he's French, and I don't speak French. Roman Grosjean is what it looks like, but I think it's like Grosjean or something.
Yeah, you can go with Grosjean.
Gross. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyways, he escaped serious injury after that harrowing crash on the opening lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix Sunday at Bahrain International Circuit. He suffered only minor burns to his hands and ankles. And if you didn't see that crash, his car hit an Armco barrier and it split in two. The front half of the car actually went through the barrier. It like split the two metal pieces and went through it. The back half just kind of bounced back onto the track and just burst into flames. Looked like something out of a movie. Yeah, Craig, that's right. He drives for Haas, actually, a U.S.-based team. So pretty crazy stuff there. I saw a video. He's walking. He's got a bandage on his hand. He's got something on his foot. But, I mean, I guess he credits the new Halo device that they have on those cars for saving his life, because as it pierced that barrier, that would have been his head hitting the steel there, but the Halo forced that metal up and over his head.
Kind of makes you grateful, Scott, for some of the safety protocols that they've put in place. If you look at Ryan Newman's crash and Grosjean's crash, boy, I'm telling you, 5 years ago they would have been, both of them would have been unsurvivable.
Absolutely. Well, it's good that we keep making improvements then.
Yeah.
NASCAR announced the Daytona 500 will have limited fans in attendance. The reduced venue capacity for the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series opener set for Sunday, February 14th, as well as all events part of the Daytona Speed Weeks, due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, is in accordance with enhanced safety protocols and procedures to provide a safe environment for the guests, the NASCAR competitors, the employees, the local community. So Speedway officials are working to accommodate guests who have already purchased tickets to the Daytona 500 to ensure social distancing between the groups who will be in attendance. Many fans will be reseated in new locations. That process is expected to be completed in early January. All guests, of course, are going to be screened before entering the facility and will be required to wear face coverings while maintaining 6-foot distancing throughout their visit. Tickets for the remaining Speed Weeks events and a limited number of premium and extended stay camping packages are somehow still available.
Did they mention what that limited seating was? They didn't put a number on it?
No, I'm guessing so they can keep that open. I want to
build more grandstands so you can put more people in.
There you go. Or just, move them around. 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson has been named the winner of the National Motorsports Press Association Myers Brothers Award. Presented annually since 1958, the award, named in honor of former NASCAR competitors Billy and Bobby Myers, recognizes individuals and or groups who have provided outstanding contributions to the sport of stock car racing. TJ Michael is going to rejoin the All-Star Circuit of Champions next year, picking up right where he left off at the end of 2017 as a full-time competitor. We had TJ on the show like a year or two ago. The Plano, Texas native who headquarters his race team in Fremont will hit the road with recently hired hand AJ Havens. Havens, an experienced wrench with victories on all levels, including the World of Outlaws and All-Star Circuit champions, will call the shots on the Michael Motorsports number 8 during the new year. One of the many short track open wheel racers who went on to race IndyCars during the 60s and 70s, Todd Gibson, passed away on December 1st. He was 83 years old. Gibson got his start racing in the Buckeye State at tracks including Sandusky Speedway, where he won the Super Modified Track Championship in 65 and 66. He made his USAC Championship Trail debut in 1969 and was a frequent competitor in the series from 76 through 79. He attempted to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 in 77 and 79, but a crash at Indy in 79 effectively ended his champ car career. He also competed in the ARCA and with ARCA and USAC and was a winner in the USAC sprint car competition. He was inducted into the Oswego Speedway Hall of Fame in 1999. He has 3 sons, Gene Lee, Larry, and Terry. They all raced. Terry Gibson was actually killed in a super modified crash at Toledo Speedway back in 2008. Do you know any of those guys?
A few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Five Flags Speedway is set to host the 53rd running of the Snowball Derby this weekend. That pays $25,000 to win. It's one of the most prestigious asphalt late model events in the world. And mentioned Chase Elliott competing in the Chili Bowl Nationals. He's going to be racing in this, as well as Kyle Busch. Some of the other competitors running this weekend include Noah Gragson, Ty Majeski, Chandler Smith, Mason Diaz, Carson Hocevar, and the defending winner of the Snowball Derby, Travis Braden. So keep those names in mind because you'll need to know that in a little bit. Finally, last bit of news, and I didn't actually see this, and I really don't want to, but this made me laugh. Apparently, Bubba Wallace is promoting his own underwear line. Did you hear
Trying not to laugh.
It gets better. Apparently, he had a social media post of an ad of Bubba wearing what was described as a short belly shirt showing his bushy stomach hair with a racing suit unzipped and hanging down. And this is the part that I liked. Fellow racer and friend Ryan Blaney said about that ad, quote, "I didn't know they made sweaters for your belly."
Oh, jeez.
So we'll leave that.
Oh.
And I haven't seen the ad, nor do I want to after reading that description.
Sounds like TMI to me, buddy.
Yeah. So last week's how many, actually 2 weeks ago, I guess it would have been, was how many touchdowns the Lions were going to score on Thanksgiving Day. You remember way back then? And they lost that game anyways.
Yeah.
They scored 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
Still ended up losing. I guessed 3, so I was the show winner. Online, we had a bunch of people with correct guesses. So we got the fun wheel here. Jeffrey Faree, is that how you pronounce that?
Yep.
All right. Craig Mintz, again, thanks to Craig with Real Geese Decoys sponsorship. John Deere, Doug Frost, and John Young, a name that's up there a lot. So we're going to see who the winner is of that. And Dean Henry, if he wins, it doesn't really count because he gets all the Big D's pizza he wants. But one of these guys is going to get a free Big D's pizza. So here we go. And the winner is, are you kidding me? John Young. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, somebody's excited there. So there you go. John Young, another Big D's pizza. This week's how many is not so much of a how many, but a who is. This is going to be names. If you want to win a Big D's pizza, this week's how many actually is going to be a who is. And the question is, who is going to be the winner of the Snowball Derby on Sunday? One guess. Put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live. You have up until, I'm going to say Saturday at midnight. the race isn't until 2:00 on Sunday. But if
and you can do your homework, look at the entry list.
yeah,
Five Flags Speedway in Florida.
it's out there, and I mentioned a few of the drivers that are going to be in there. A lot of NASCAR drivers. So, and if somebody else picks the same name, that's okay. We'll do the spinning wheel here and determine who the winner is going to be. So, I had a message from Jerry, who's, again, as we mentioned, feeling under the weather, so that's why he's not with us tonight. But he did want to put in his guess, and his guess is Chase Elliott. So he's already picked Chase.
Yeah.
So I guess
and John Deere went with Kyle Busch.
He did, and I'm thinking, do you want me to go first, or would you like?
Yeah,
to?
Go ahead.
I'm going to pick Kyle Busch.
Oh wow!
So who you got, Ron?
I'm thinking Hocevar is he's going to be good.
Okay. Does Kathy have a guess? Your secretary?
Actually, dinner just got here, and she's attending to that. So no, she doesn't have a guess.
All right. Fair enough. So again, if you want to play this week's How Many, which is who is this week, go ahead and put your guesses. Who's going to win the Snowball Derby at Five Flags Speedway down there in Florida this weekend? A lot of drivers competing in that big race. Although I'm surprised it only pays $25,000 to win. You know, when you got the World of Outlaw race.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, those poor pavement guys, they just don't race for much.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, you have until Saturday, midnight. That's this Saturday, December 5th, to get your guess in if you're listening to us on demand, on a podcast, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. We don't care. Any one you want to do is all good. Thanks to our associate producer, Dave Kemmer, field correspondents, Matt Swanner, Doug Dock, for helping me out. Are you allowed to order out in Michigan? Chris?
Oh, yeah, we can order. We just can't go anywhere.
You can go to Ohio, though, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Although
yeah.
I think Ohio is now one of those alert states, travel alerts.
Yeah, I think that may be coming to an end. Was that tonight that they were going to have
I don't know.
They were going to talk about it. Now, Michigan's orders per the governor end next Wednesday. So, sure, things are going to get better.
So you got something going on Sunday, right? You want to talk a little bit about that before we wrap?
I do. Doug Dock, Chris Mize have their own show going on. I was busy taking care of our dog Henry last weekend, and he got sick, and I didn't get a chance to listen to their inaugural show, so I'm kind of going into it blind, Scott, but I'm looking forward to it. Now, I don't have a clue what they've got lined up.
It's probably best to go into it blind.
Other than they asked me to be there. It'll be a similar format.
From what I hear, it's unfiltered, and it's not necessarily about racing, though.
It could be politics, it could be racing, but with Chris, Doug, racing will be involved.
Well, that's all that matters.
And I'm sure it's going to be a good time.
Next week on this show, next Thursday night, 7:00, make sure you're here. We only have 2 more shows left this year before we wrap things up, because the last 2 Thursdays of this year are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So we only have 2 more shows before we finish things up. Next week's show, we're going to do a little year in review deal, and we've teamed up with some other racing shows to kind of cross-pollinate, I guess, with them. You may not be familiar with Horsepower Happenings on the Throttle or the Dirt Nerds podcast, or you might be. Maybe they're not familiar with us, so it's kind of a win-win thing. We're going to have at least confirmed Elliot Aldrich, Zach Heiser, Dwayne Hancock, Rich France, those guys from those other shows all getting together. And we're just going to kind of talk about the year in racing as it was in 2020.
And be prepared, that show could run long if we have 4 or 5 podcasts involved.
I'm thinking I might not have to do much talking next week. I'll sit back and say, okay, go. And I'll just sit back. So that'll be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. Actually, there's several people that have suggested, we team up with these other shows and kind of do a little cross-pollination thing here, because it kind of, we're all supporting the racing community and we're all part of the racing community. So,
As long as they're not involved in Toledo City's paper best of, I don't want to have to compete against those folks.
well, and thanks to Dwayne Hancock and Jim over there on the Throttle. They had me on there a week ago. Was it a week ago or was it this past Monday? No, it was a week ago. It was the Monday before Thanksgiving, because we weren't doing a show on Thursday. That's right. So that was pretty cool. Had a lot of fun talking to those guys. 2 weeks from tonight, that'll be our last show of 2020, and then better things will happen in 2021. That's going to be our hangover race previews with Doug Dock, Chris Mize, and Scott Warner. We'll talk about both hangover races that Friday and Saturday, Sandusky Speedway, Mill Street Speedway, and kind of go over the rules and all the fine tuning. Everything will be laid out on the table there.
Scott, I don't know if you saw it, but over in the comments column, Doug Dock put a link up to their podcast.
No Bull Show.
Yep.
There you go. Facebook.com/No Bull Show. That's going on Sunday night. Do you know what time that is? Was that 8 o'clock? I don't remember what time.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm supposed to check in about quarter of. So.
Okay. There you go. So all about helping everybody else out. So help us out. Make sure you go to Toledo City Paper Best of Contest deal. Again, we have a link to it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hammerdown Racing Report. It's pinned at the top, so you don't have to scroll down. Click on that. It'll take you right there. Give us a vote. Do that every single day. Because voting ends shortly after. Wait, no, the 15th. So, we only have, a week and a half of voting left to go. 7:30 is when the No Bull Show starts on Sunday.
Doug, Chris, and Dave Kimmer all say that it starts at 7:30. It must start at 7:30, Scott.
Seems to be the consensus there, yes. So tune in Sunday, but also before you tune in on Sunday at 7:30, make sure to vote for us, because you got to do that.
That's it.
Vote for us for that Best of Toledo. We're up against some pretty good competition there. So
and don't vote for the No Bull Show because they weren't nominated.
Well, yeah,
but then again, they were new.
Wasn't around back then. So again, thanks to our sponsors, Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, those technologically advanced goose and duck decoys. I'm not much into hunting, so I don't really know too much about this stuff. But if you are, then these are the ones to get. Check out realgeese.com or give them a call, 419-800-8100. Make sure to support Big D's Pizza over there in Clyde, 419-547-1444. Mention Hammerdown Race Report. Save 10%. Mill Street Speedway, big supporter there. Again, the Hangover Race 2, the return in racing action on January 2nd with that event. Make sure to follow them on Twitter, Facebook, or millstreetspeedway.net. That's where you can find their Twitter and Facebook. And, of course, Ron Miller Race Cars.
I know those guys.
Yeah, you can give him a call, 734-856-7223. That's 856
Race.
There you go. Do phones even have the numbers or the letters on it anymore?
Yeah.
I don't think you got like a 1930s flip phone.
And I've had it since 1930. It hasn't broken.
That's what I thought. So again, I'll put up a post on our Facebook page too, asking for videos as we work on making a new opening video for next year's shows. So
Matt Swander suggested that we do the flip, the rollover from
Devin Shields.
From Devin Shields, yes.
I think we could probably get that. That's a good idea. It's very good.
We'll keep reminding Devin.
Yes. So again, don't forget, next week, back in action, 7 o'clock, Thursday night, with the Dirt Nerds on the Throttle, Horsepower Happening guys, talking about the year in racing that was 2020. That is coming to an end, especially I'm
really glad that 2020 is coming to an end, Scott.
I think a lot of people are.
I've had it up to about here with 2020.
Yeah, no Gateway Dirt Nationals. I mean, there's just a lot of things. You just want to, all right, let's get out of here. I lost my job, so I'm done with this month.
Scott, that's gonna turn out to be a good thing.
I'm hoping so. I got some good leads going on, so I'm kind of excited about some things. And hopefully I can reinvest into this show and we can get some equipment back, since we are we're completely on our own now.
Yeah.
No support of my former employer at this point. So
whoever that may have been,
whose name we will not mention,
they shall remain nameless.
And it has to be that way for a couple of reasons, because of a contract that I signed as well. So they shall remain nameless. But and if anybody wants to get a hold of me again about sponsorship, studio sponsorship or anything, get a hold of me after the show. Anytime, not between 7 and whatever time it is now on Thursday nights.
Or call Ron Miller Race Cars and I can put you in touch with Scott.
That works too.
I'm easy to get a hold of.
Go ahead and get your food there. It's time to eat, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. 7 o'clock next Thursday. We'll see you then.
See y'all.
Later.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.